Today I'm going to talk about the reTerminal, and this is a Raspberry Pi compatible computer from Seed Studio. So in particular, I'm going to look at the connection on the side, which is a 40-pin GPIO connector, and it's the one you would normally use to connect the Raspberry Pi hats. And the one in particular I'll be looking at today is a Grove hat that connects to Grove peripherals, both digital, analog, and I2C and UART Grove modules. So the first one I'm going to connect is a digital module. It's a Grove LED, and it's going to be connected to port D5. The next two are analog. So on analog 0, I'm connecting a Grove air quality module. And on A2, I'm connecting a Grove light sensor. And to test the I2C port, I'm connecting a Grove temperature and humidity sensor called the Grove SHT31. And stay tuned, and I'll give you a demonstration of how it works. So this is the third attempt at booting, and obviously we've got a problem with power from a device like this, and Seed Studio recommend a 4 amp, but I've only got a 3 amp USB power supply here, but hopefully it will still work, and we can see everything on VNC. And what I'll do is have a look at a couple of demonstration programs. So we'll look at Python hat, and I think the first, we'll just look at a couple of these ones. We'll look at the Rainbow and open up Thorny Python IDE, and here you can see the program. Here is quite simple. It's got it's rotating through a sequence in this array to show various colors. So we'll run the program, and you can see the colors over here on the Sense hat, and I'll just stop that now, and we'll run another program. This one we will run the text scroll, and we'll do the same again, run it on Python. And here you can see a very simple message: one small step for Pi, and we'll run that program. So we'll run that, and the message has now been scrolled across the Sense hat LED array. And just one final demonstration. We'll stop that one, and we'll run the let's see, we just run one more of these, the color cycle one, similar to the previous color Rainbow. So here you go, and we'll run that program, and it will cycle through. You can see it now cycling through the various colors on the LED array. And that's my first test of the compatibility of reTerminal, a Pi compatible computer, and looking at its compatibility with the Raspberry Pi hats, and in particular the Sense hat. Here we have the reTerminal, a computer which is Raspberry Pi compatible, and it's connected on the right side here to a Grove Raspberry Pi Zero hat. So it's the small version of the hat, and there is a larger version which is just over here. So under the hat there's a Raspberry Pi 4, and on this version we have the smaller one. So the smaller one uses the same connector as the Raspberry Pi hats, but it only has a smaller number of Grove sockets for Grove peripherals. Now on this particular configuration we've got a LED, air quality, and next to that we've got a light sensor, analog light sensor, a humidity and temperature sensor, and there's also a digital LED, a digital light sensor, a I2C hub, and they're all connected via the Grove cables to the Grove hat. And the configuration is special in that two types of connectors to the expansion port are used. So there's the angle expansion port, and this brings everything out on a nice level. And there's also an additional header which is used to make sure that it can fit correctly. Now, to have a look at how this operates, it's Node-RED is working on the Raspberry Pi, and you can see that on the screen here of the reTerminal. And what we'll do is just collect all those measurements, and we'll go, well, we've got everything routed via the NC, so you can see this on my larger screen on the computer. So if we want to see what the temperature and humidity is, we just poll that, and we're getting readings for temperature and humidity at the moment in the room. So this is quite an accurate sensor. And to get air quality, we're getting the reading of air quality, and for Grove light, we're getting the Grove light measurements. And if we want to turn on and off the LED, we just turn these ones on, toggle them here, and you can see that on the LED. So the LED has been toggled on and off, and all of this is controlled via the nodes on Node-RED. So let me just show you what some of those ones are. These ones are just over here, so you can see the nodes and how they're connected in the program. And that's Node-RED working on a reComputer with both the Seed Studio Grove hat library, which is a Python library, and also Node-RED. They're working together.